Hello, Reddit readers. Today, adults have shared with us what it is important for teenagers to know about life. I will not detain you anymore. Like and subscribe to the channel of pleasant viewing. Story 1. From user Skeptical Bob. It is difficult to synthesize in a brief response. But here it goes. I'm also going to cut and paste one of my prior responses to a similar themed question. When we are younger, our perception of time is very different. We think we have all the time in the world. Our life is often filled with ill. Get to that later, or I have plenty of time. Let me tell you, we don't have nearly as much as we think. Time slides by ridiculously fast as you age. I mean that. So here are a few more specific items that you can consider. Career. If you have specific career objectives that possibly involve education or such, don't put it off. It never gets easier. There is never a better time. I had intended to go to law school after my undergrad, but put it off because I was just burnt out from going to school and working. I don't want to be an addy, but law would give me a significant advantage in many of my career objectives. Anyway, I told myself, I'll do that later when it's a better time. I've never made it back. Relationships first. If you have an idea of what you want in a relationship and life, you have to make yourself that person first, meaning to attract the life and people you want. You have to be that person to make it happen, not the other way around. Have a serious conversation with yourself. Identify your character traits, strengths, and weaknesses. You probably need to ask friends for their sincere input, because it's extremely difficult for us to be objective, particularly when we are younger. If you know what you want the end story to be, then you have to map out your path to get there and implement that. There are no shortcuts. Do the work, relationships continued. It is very, very easy to become complacent in a relationship, to settle for what is comfortable rather than what is satisfying or fulfilling. Be judicious with your time. This doesn't mean you should have throwaway relationships, but it does mean you should be more conscious about who the other person is and how they fit your life. The life that you want. Last, my general thoughts. Okay, old guy here, or at least old relative to Reddit. I have lost both parents over a dozen friends. Time creeps, you don't think even for a second. This is the last time I'll see these people. This is the last time. Whatever we take for granted so much. If you look back and knew that those were the best years and the best times of your life, would you have appreciated it differently? I don't know. But I will tell you, as a person that has moved over 50 times, 17 schools, 4 countries, 20-ish states, time slides by a lot faster than you expect. Do not waste it, people. You think you'll see again. For sure, pass away. Car accidents, heart attacks, torn esophagus. I mean, at any given moment, I hope even one of you reads this and takes a new level of appreciation. Tell the people you love that you love them all the best. My fellow Redditors peas, you get what you give. The giving comes first. Edit. Wow, this has really blown up. I will do my very best to reply to each of your comments or questions. Thanks to each of you for the very kind responses. I mean that. Story 2 from user Snow2. The internet is not real. Life seriously, you're better off ditching social media altogether or treating it as something akin to a show than thinking it's real. Most people are good, honest people who just want to work, earn money to support a family, get through the day. Maybe kick back some brews with the friends and sleep things, like politics don't matter to them. Or if they do, it's only. In so much as it directly affects their lives, they'll gladly be your friend until you try to push a political agenda on them, at which point they'll want you to GTFO because you tried to push an agenda on them. There's a good chance whoever you end up working for won't care one bit about how good a worker you are, and things like promotions and raises will be handed out based on how much the manager likes you. Upper middle class, West Coast suburb is not real. Life communism is a failed ideology that doesn't work and has allowed the worst monsters in all of history to take power. Advocating for it does nothing but betray ignorance on your part. Religious fanatics exist for all beliefs, including atheism. If you think that somehow being atheist makes you better and less ignorant than a Christian person, then I have a bridge to sell you. No political party in the world has any desire to actually accomplish the goals it claims it does. If they ever did, then they would render themselves obsolete, or at least in need of new ones to maintain power. It is in their best interest that the problem never gets solved, or if it does, that new ones arise that only they can solve. If you work retail, you will very quickly come to loathe all customers. No matter how nice and friendly they are, and realize all the small things you did that you didn't think about beforehand that were actually serious problems for the staff. Something as simple as, ill. Just sit down in the store to drink my coffee. To an employee may mean, I can finish emptying the outside garbage cans, because this dumbass decided to sit down and drink their coffee at the table, and now I got to wait 10 minutes or whatever. For them to finish, so I can get back to work. I highly recommend you work a year of retail, regardless if only, so you can understand what is actually going on. Probably 90 of the things you thought were important as a teen are actually entirely irrelevant. America is not some evil capitalist hellscape, while there may be nations better than it out there to act like it's the worst, while posting online on your smartphone, while drinking Starbucks coffee. Because we know you are on the way to your job, where you work only 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, while getting paid between $75 an hour. Minimum alone shows you don't live in the worst place in the world. Bonus: most nations don't broadcast their own failures and shortcomings as much as America and its constant media cycle and massively online population does. If you think X nation doesn't have problems or things that would be massive issues, if you tried to move there, you're wrong. They just don't talk about it anywhere near as much as Americans do. Story 3 from user Direct Confection 21. If you haven't figured it out already, then that's a good thing. No bunk beds in the graveyard, as they say. You need to become the most reliable person in your life, because no one will always be there for you. There are no guardrails and no rules in the world. Not really. The law exists to protect property, and to be used as a political weapon. Don't expect guardrails, or for anyone or anything to step in always to stop the worst from happening. The straight line path to success, where you just decide to work really hard and you get a good job, that can provide a good overall quality of life. Food, housing, medicine, transportation, doesn't exist to find the place where you really can do your best work. You have to be creative, and you have to leave yourself open to getting lucky. The art of doing this is not at all obvious, but it's possible. Still, your body, IQ, social IQ, and emotional IQ are at least as important as whatever the conventional IQ test will measure, maybe more. Listening to what your own body is telling you, getting in touch with the natural world. These are the only things which can derive clarity from the information hell and cacophony that is modern life. The vast majority of people out there have no intentions of hurting you or going to war or taking what anyone else has. They just want good food on the table, affordable beer, their pride and safe fun things to do with the people they love. This applies to every group of people, more or less. Despite how warlike they appear, everyone has two basic needs. One is to feel safe and secure and protected. The other is to feel in control. Behaviors which seem confusing to us are typically explained by one of those two needs being unmet. No person can be as smart as their network or as stupid. The world is far more full of people who want to do good for its own sake than the other way around. However, things which hurt or are unpleasant are much more bad than good things are good. There is no good feeling in this world which is as intense as grief. However, love is enough to balance all of it out, to outweigh all the items on the bad side of the list. And that's the only thing that can go there. The deepest truth of any art or song or poem. Every song is a love song. Your mind is most intelligent when it is doing nothing. If you fill every second of your day with something and refuse to waste any time, then you are losing touch with the most creative parts of yourself. This world is the way it is for a reason. True peace comes from realizing that certain aspects of our world have to be. That way, there is no world that could be different in terms of the rules themselves once we can accept this. Instead of living in a world of niceties, we can work towards our purposes in direct conflict with 10. But still true. Not everything that happens for a reason, but everything that survives for a reason. Story 4. From user Super Stranger. It doesn't matter how much it is. However much you can afford to do each week or each paycheck. Set an auto deposit into an ETF, don't touch it. Even if it looks like you're losing money, just let it ride it, all balance itself out and the interest will compound. Also set up dividends to auto reinvest. You could legit retire early if you invest enough. Most of the stuff you think you need, you'll regret buying later. Especially if it's new and expensive. Now wait for big discount sales, or for someone to sell it cheap. In a few years, most of the stuff I blew thousands on 5 years ago is sitting in a storage unit, wasting my money. Use an app, notebook, spreadsheet, or whatever to keep track of every dollar you spend. You'll find out you spend a lot more than you realize and where you can cut back. It'll also help you from being overdrawn or missing a bill payment. Use a password manager and unique, strong passwords for everything. Use 2-factor authentication anytime they offer it. Even if your password is strong, the website may not be. Don't put any personal info on an HTTP site. HTTPS only for that. Don't share too much personal info online. It's super easy to get everything about you from minor stuff. You post, that doesn't seem relevant. Your name, your address, your family, your job, your school, whatever. Just like your passwords. It's only as strong as your weakest link. If you're careful, but your friend is not, they can still get your info. It can be as simple as looking at who followed you first on social media. You don't have to give up your hobbies or your passions. But unless you are actually putting in a ton of hours to make that your career pick, something else that you can enjoy, that pays well, instead of working bullshit jobs your whole life and being too tired to draw. Because of work in your 30s, learn to code, data, analytics, medical coding, or whatever. Do a lot of research into jobs that pay well, that may interest you one day. You'll realize you have more free time now than you may ever have again. And you'll kick yourself for wasting it and not getting a skill in your 20s that could have had you making 6 figures in your 30s. And it'll usually be a lot easier than a job that pays shit. Learn basic shit. Now how to do laundry, how to make some basic meals, how to clean the house a little. Pay attention to the little things around you that your parents do that they don't even think to tell you or ask them for it. The best skill to have for anything is being able to learn how to do something or knowing how to find out if you don't know something. Ask and find out. YouTube. It being able to make a simple dinner when you're broke will go far. Being able to do basic repairs on your car will save a ton. Jobs. Appreciate your ability to learn. Don't be too nice and overextend yourself. Put your own well-being first. Sometimes don't push yourself for a job they don't care about. You work hard, but know when to say no. Some jobs reward hard work. Most reward who they like, even if they're not the best. Always be looking for a better job. Hopping is becoming the best way to get a raise. A job you've been at for 5 years may turn down your raise. But another company may pay a lot more for someone with 5 years of experience. It doesn't matter how much you love someone. Now don't let someone else put you in a bad spot, financially, emotionally, mentally, or physically. That doesn't mean don't care about others. It means that there are literally millions just like them, but they won't hurt you. Like them, a breakup may hurt, but you will love again. And you won't even remember that other person when you're with the new one. If you're having trouble meeting someone, assess yourself. Would you date you? If not, what would you like to change? Do not beat yourself up. Some things you can change, and someone will love you, no matter what, for who you are. But don't be stubbornly blind to your own faults, basically. Don't be an incel and blame others for your problems. Even if it's one small change, making improvements to yourself is good for you and super attractive. Like learning to code as stated previously. Someone may see you working hard and think you're ambitious. Learning new skills is attractive. Learning to cook can lead to better diet, healthier and attractive. Basically, improving yourself will make you happier, which will make you more attractive. Taking classes can introduce you to new people you may not have met otherwise. Be empathetic. You don't know what anyone is going through. They may have had the worst day of their life. It takes nothing to be kind to someone. That doesn't mean you should take their bullshit. If they're being awful, it means try to be understanding and try to de-escalate when someone is being rude or angry. Sometimes just asking, "Are you okay?" will get them to realize what they're doing. For those that don't, be firm and stand up for yourself. Calmly, tell them you won't interact with them. If they're like that, walk away. Don't argue with stupid. They'll bring you down to their level and beat you with experience. Question everything, even if it's a headline that agrees with your own views, or something a friend, teacher, or parent says. Read into it. Find out the whole story. See if someone is disputing it. If an article is saying a new study says something, look at the study. Or better yet, find someone that knows how to properly read the study and see what they say about it. Don't be afraid to challenge your own beliefs. Take the scientific approach to something. If what you believe is true, it should hold up to legitimate scrutiny. That doesn't mean listen to some talking head on YouTube, but instead, an actual expert. Most of the time, they're manipulating facts to get a specific answer that fits their narrative. Always check the source. If something is leading you down the path of hating women or a marginalized group, they're just assholes and full of shit. Read as much as you can. Read for a new skill. Read for news. Read for entertainment. Just read. Learn new words. If you find a word you don't know or a subject you're not familiar with, look it up. Familiarize yourself with it. It'll make you smarter. Improve your vocabulary. Give you something to talk about, and may give you new perspectives and insights. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and write comments. See you later.